Hello, good morning. I'm Taina Hayes. I'm the CEO of Moeda Seeds Company and Holdings. And the purpose of the live session today is to relate and report to our investors what has been going on with Moeda, our achievements, as well as our roadmap and future plans. I'm happy to answer questions as well. That was a demand coming from our community at the Telegram official group that we had. And I hope to clarify many of the questions that our investors have right now. So Moeda became more than a project, has been 2 years. So we developed many different companies. And today we have a holding company that takes all the operations overseas. The main base of Moeda today is Brazil, which is my country and where I have the most knowledge and network to develop such an innovative project as Moeda. So today we have a fintech company that handles all the credit and fiat crypto services that we have. We have also an accelerator program because we realized that giving the money and the credit wasn't enough. We need the guidance and people need to understand how to spend the money and do the business plan. So we help along the way to not just the business plan, but also the commercialization plan of the products that we invest. We realized that we needed as well a marketplace. So we have a third company that helps them to sell their products and put the products on the market. And we have the marketplace coming up very soon. So stay tuned for the dates. We will announce on our official channels as well. But we realized to resolve a complex problem such as impact investment, we needed those different companies and also to work with the regulators and in a complex environment like the Brazilian financial banking environment, we needed different things. As well as to guarantee and mitigate the risk, we need to help the entrepreneurs and the SMEs along the way. So that's why we decided to give not just the credit, but the guidance and as well as the online store and the marketplace. We have successfully run 2 projects, which you got the payback to prove our model last year and this year. So you might have noticed the beer. So the beer is ready and is delicious. And that was the first project that we have with the cooperative from Dona Divina. She's the president of the cooperative. So we have given the credit and also all the guidance to produce 1,500 bottles of that beer. And that beer will be commercialized in the local market in Brazil very soon. So you have the first beer in Latin America, like tracked. You can see the QR code here. So you have all the story and everything is registered on the blockchain and how from the beginning to the end, from the credit to the actual product. So we have like very tangible results. The second project was the coffee. So the main reason to give innovation was because we understood that the technical assistance, especially in Brazil, was very outdated. Like we needed an upgrade and people need to understand how to put a project on a niche market instead of like competing with the big companies. So for the SMEs, we developed that accelerator program that guides them into how to put the product, how to make a nice packaging, and how to also export the project because we envision to export those products to Asia, especially China and Japan and South Korea. And to do that, like the coffee was a special partnership that we have with the International Association of Women Coffee Producers. So we develop partnerships along the way that help us to also multiply and replicate the product, not just in Brazil, but in Tanzania and Africa, and also in India and other countries that our coffee producers as well. So we take a raw product like coffee or the nuts, the baru nuts, and we aggregate the value on the product so they can sell into a higher price, making more income and also helping other families along the way. Now we are creating the metrics to measure and track the impact that we are making, because we want more than estimates. We want to know how many jobs and how the lives of the people that we affect or change us. And that's why we are developing the impact metrics for Moeda projects, because then we can expand with a clear path to other countries in Latin America and also in Africa. And that's our objective with the funds. So people were asking, what did we launch yesterday? Actually, the launch was before, when I was in Africa a month ago. We launched the Block Fund. The Block Fund is our plan to expand Moeda to other countries, because we realize that the challenges that we have in Brazil and our platform is global, and we do want to take it globally, but we need more partnerships. And in order to have more partnerships and more capital towards the projects, not only in Brazil, but abroad, we needed other impact investment funds to join us. For the traditional funds and impact funds and wealthy families, crypto is a very distant world. So for them, it was very difficult to understand how to buy the MDA or to buy the crypto and invest right away through our platform. So they suggested us to make the traditional way. So we created two funds. One is the Block Fund, that is a fund in Luxembourg with Bamboo Capital Partners. So that fund also has the commitment of African countries like Togo. Togo was the first one to invest and to commit the investment in the first loss of the fund. And that is the first country that Moeda is going to expand in Africa, is Togo. And also in Brazil, to attract the impact investment funds, here we needed an instrument, a financial instrument that they understand, which is called the FIDIC, which is the fiduciary fund in Brazil that buys the credit from the cooperatives. So once those structures are ready, we can grow on volume of projects and also on volume of credit to offer to those projects. Everything that we built was thinking on how to scale up very quickly. So as soon as we proved the model with two projects and the payback went smoothly and all the investors were happy with the payback of two projects, we're expanding that for a portfolio of projects and also to fund management. So we can tokenize the funds and people can start to invest in a portfolio of different projects. As more projects that we have and more that the people use the currency, the MDA currency and the respective stable reserves currencies, more the demand of that currency grows, and also we can grow the company as a holding company. And that is important for us to everyone to understand the difference between the token. So we are digitizing the assets that we have for first track. We have the accountability purpose of tokenizing a fund and a project. The same technology that we use for tokenizing a project is the underlying technology to also for the fund. So you can track and see the metrics. If you go into our website, you see the 11 steps that you have from when we receive a project to the due diligence that we do on the project, the selection process, the creation of the business plan. The same thing that we analyze a project for an SME is the same way that we can analyze equity as well to invest in companies. And also is the purpose in a blended finance a purpose vehicle like Block to invest not just in credit debt, but also into equity into other companies. So that is the bigger plan of Moeda to expand. and the technology will be pretty similar to what we use. We will customize to a bigger, broader market, and therefore we are investing also in security. And as you have seen, the PIN that we added and like other tools will come up into the next months to fortify the security aspects and custody and everything that we have with that. Along the way, we became leaders in the market here in Latin America and a reference because everything that we created and the tangible results that we had. So we got many governments approaching us, and as well as other people from the private sector. So we designed the main architecture of Moeda to be very flexible. So it's a modular architecture. So we have first the identity and the KYC, as you may if you have an account, you see like everything that we take from the digital identity and everything that we have as this Moeda ID. We create as a modular first module for Moeda. We have the authentication process, and we have the accountability process of the projects. So there is other module. So we are planning to license each one of those modules to governments and also the private sector, because some of them, they want to implement blockchain on their existing systems. And we are flexible enough right now, and we came to a mature stage of our development that we can help other people as well, and also they can help us to generate to have like income for the company coming from those license fees. And that is one of the revenue model of Moeda. We have fees coming from the fiat crypto services. We have the fees coming from the licenses that we are giving right now, and also to expand and customize our systems to other systems. So we are able to plug and play in existing banking systems in Brazil because of the banking APIs that we developed. And okay, let's take some questions. I see people asking. Doesn't the new funds hurt the current token? No, like the funds will create more usability for the token. And as more usability for the token, the demand grows. And as that is a limited supply of the token, you see the equation like that grow. And so no, that doesn't hurt. As more the possibilities and systems and people that use the token, not just in Brazil, but in Africa, India, and everywhere else that we grow, more demand we will have for the token. So it doesn't hurt the token. Could you elaborate more on the difference of MDA and the new MDA-B token? So the MDA, the utility, the main utility is for investing on the projects globally. So you can use as well as a collateral for the projects. That is the loyalty program coming up soon, which some were like talking in the channel. We will explain about that more into this month, how it works to use Moeda as a collateral and have this income monthly. And also the difference with the MDA-B token is the MDA will be used as a loyalty program for the bigger fund. So the correlation with them is like more for the fund, and the MDA will be used for everything, for the marketplace, for the fund, for the accelerator program, and everything that we do. And also the only way to take out of the system, because we develop other currencies as well. It's not just the MDA, we have the stable currencies. One is pegged to Moeda Reais, the BRL. We will have Moeda Euro, Moeda USD, and the currencies that are existing just into our systems for the payback. So once the payback is done, and that is an exchange of the payback, the exchange can be done just into MDA. And everything that we built into our systems, they incentivize the use of MDA as a main currency of the system. So MDA is like the universal currency for us. So MDAB is just like other loyalty token that we have to incentivize people to use and to invest in the bigger fund. Let me see. Why would it create more demand?
The first question also is a compliment from the first question.
Yeah, I think we answered that too.
How do you select the projects that will receive funding?
Okay. We have partnerships, corporate and SMEs here in Brazil. So we have a larger pipeline. We created a method, internal method to analyze and do the due diligence on those projects. So we receive a project, we select that through certain qualification requirements that we have. And we do prioritize women-owned businesses because it's like the gap is huge here in Brazil for women. We like to take projects and people with like a progressive mind and open for innovation. So because that's why the main core of Moeda is to implementing innovation into such projects, not just the credit, but also taking the sustainability of the credit and taking that vision in the long term as well. So that is important for us. So we do analyze the long-term aspects of the SME of the project that we receive, as well as other characteristics and being able to help the community and as well as taking care of the environment. So we analyze this sustainability 360 degree that we call to understand and to finance the project. So that is the accelerator program. Most of those like startup I Combinator type of approach, they stay mainly into the cities in Brazil, which is very common. But that knowledge doesn't go to the rural areas and to the entrepreneurs, the farmers. So we are taking like existing models like the I Combinator and applying for the SMEs in Brazil, which is a bigger and larger market than in the cities. And they do need the knowledge and the wisdom to apply better the money in a smart way. So it's like the precision finance that we do, and as well as mitigating the risks for our investors as well by qualifying the projects. Let's see the questions.
Yeah, now I think it's Maria Claudia. Mm-hmm. Asking how do you select? Can you explain the structure of how the projects are seeded and then redeemed for investors?
Okay. So the projects, when the payback happens, we do the fiat crypto services into a legal structure in Uruguay. It's a free trade zone. So we are able to transact fiat and crypto and also to send the returns to our investors immediately. So that is all digital. So the investors, if you had the time and the care to invest in one of the projects, you have seen that the paybacks went very smoothly on the same day that was promised that, and the first project, the payback was even earlier than expected. So for us, was we were very happy and very proud of that.
Perfect. Do you see expanding to other markets like US as being done under the Moeda organization or through a partnership organization like recently announced one?
Yes, absolutely. That's why we are preparing the technology to expand very quickly. We have tested the model successfully, and we are ready to take this next step by being abroad. So we see first going to the Latin America, which is close by Brazil, the other countries like Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, and Uruguay. So we have like those countries that are very similar to us here. So it's easier to expand to our partnerships. Next step is Africa, which will begin in Togo, the country of Togo, and also like Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, and more of the West Africa and the French-speaking countries, and later India and Southeast Asia. So we will first begin the operations of expanding Moeda into the developing countries. And yes, yeah, we plan to go to US, and we do see a lot of opportunity there too, but we'll start with the developing countries.
Does you plan to use percentage of earnings to buy back MDA token as mentioned in the white paper? Do you have to relocate the company for that, as not every country allows that?
Yes, still the plan. We just began to generate revenue from the company, as I mentioned, from licensing the technology and other different types of revenue streams that we have, and we'll begin to, yes, reinvest in the company, and that is the plan as well. And we will create a lot of incentives as well for bigger investors and bigger crypto funds to hold the tokens. That's what we have been working on right now with the different groups of larger buyers of crypto. They're interested in Moeda in the long term.
Perfect, let's two. And can you talk a little about how MDA loyal compensation for keeping MDA on your site wallet is envisioned to work as shared on fee revenue or other searches?
Yes. So the loyalty program will work as you invest in your bank. Like we want something similar to is existing on the market. When you go in Brazil, you have the CDB and like other types of investments, that assets that you can just click and choose very quickly. And we can use the Moeda, the MDA as a collateral. My objective is to be as simple as having your money, instead of having your money on the savings account, you can invest in 3 clicks today in a seed project. And if you don't want to select directly one specific seed project and you want to invest in a portfolio of projects that have revenue, an average revenue that we can guarantee, then you can invest into this kind of like financial program. So we'll develop, the first will be the Moeda loyalty program, but we are developing other programs as well to use MDA as a collateral. So as I mentioned, the incentives for people to hold the tokens and to invest into the seed projects. So you don't lose the value of the MDA and you still keep on investing on the project. So it's a win-win game.
And have you determined the percentage of dividends when staking MDA, keeping MDA online wallet?
Yes, we'll announce the details of the program.
And the last one, what happens to MDA tokens you use to seed?
They go back to the ecosystem. Right now, we're building also incentives for people to use on a daily basis. If you can see, we implemented this feature called the contact. Works like the Vimo in the US, so you can just type the nickname of the person and then you can transfer very easily and directly to the people. So we want to use the currency as means of payment between like peer-to-peer payments. So that also increases the demand of the token. So yes, that has been successfully used in Brazil, and we are going to use that broadly in conjunction with some of the communitarian banks, because for the payment of Moeda is easier for the community to send quickly and doesn't need to wait for like banking the hours or like the higher taxes that you have when you do a wire transfer here in Brazil, or as a merchant, when you receive the payment for a product, the costs for the transaction fees are very high, so it's like more than 5%, and if you want to anticipate that payment that you receive for a product is even higher, can go to 12%. and our fees are like 1% to 2%. So it's like easier to use the token as payments. So that will drive the demand as well.
That was awesome.
So thank you so much. That was like the first live, but I plan to do this more often. And please, if you have more questions, we can answer that offline as well. And I will be back with more news coming up soon, and from our partners and our advances on the technology as well as on the larger, broader goal of Moeda. Stay tuned. Everything will be through our official channels, and I'm happy to be here and also have this communication that is a human communication too, because we humanize finances and we want to humanize our communication as well. And being as investors, we really take in consideration your opinion, and we do value that a lot. Thank you for your feedback, and thank you for being participating and believing in the mission and in Moeda, and also the many people that we support. Thank you so much.